What's up, everybody? And today we're checking out Exercise Rattlesnake. US Army's most hated unit gives UK troops hell. This was by Forces News. It was quite a while ago, 3 years ago. But apparently this is really a really good video, and I've been sent it so many times I can't even count. And so we're going to watch it. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see what it's all about. If you want to watch this video without me waffling over the top, you can certainly go and do that down in the description below. It's at the very start. You'll see the links to the original video. Go over there. Check it out if you want to without me chatting over the top. I don't think there's anything I got to announce yet. I'm so close to announcing something really soon, and I'm very excited about it. You're going to love it. I think that's it. Let's pull this up, let's watch it, and let's see why they are the US most hated unit. Fort Polk, Louisiana. One of the US Army's toughest training camps.
Grueling. We always say that we stretch you to the point where we can see all your holes.
Excuse me, what? Excuse me? What did he just say? He stretches you apart so he can see all your holes. What? They literally just said that, didn't they?
We stretch you to the point where we can see all your holes.
I bet he does. I bet he does.
Give me rapid. The Joint Readiness Training Center rotation is like a cricket bat in the face over and over again.
The Brits are coming. Careful, we're bringing our SA-80s. Okay.
I'm Sian Greschek, and I'm joining the Welsh Cavalry as they spend 12 days in what's known as the Box, a feared training area that's being used to test
the Welsh Cavalry. Should have sent the Royal Marines. You know what I mean? Make us look good at least.
troops to their limits for decades.
Okay, Exercise Rattlesnake.
Meet Geronimo.
I think we are considered the most hated unit in the United States Army.
Why?
And I think our soldiers really take a lot of pride in being the most despised unit that's out there.
Geronimo. So I have a lot of respect for Geronimo. I'm fighting somebody that has a ton of repetitions fighting here in this terrain.
But why are they the most hated though? Like, what's the reason for it?
That is going to absolutely give us every problem that we will likely encounter in combat.
They are effectively professional baddies. They're based at this training area and know every inch of it like the backs of their hands. Their mission is to give the visiting soldiers hell.
So they're basically, they play enemy a lot. That's what they do. They play enemy a lot, which I've done plenty of times. Which is kind of cool that there's like a battalion, a unit that does that specifically. Sorry, a unit.
Heart and soul, that is. Act in a way today that will force your adversary or your opponent to really have to deal with a lot of problems simultaneously. And when you do that, you overwhelm them and they start to create their own problems. And I think that is really what's at the heart of how we act and our mentality.
As usual, no prisoners. Questions?
Only 3. Let my guys push through. One dead G-man down the road.
And it doesn't take long for Geronimo to start causing problems. This, the aftermath of a surprise attack.
He got radio check before.
Well, that's good though. It's good that they're having people who legitimately are good at playing enemy go against you, because it only makes you a better soldier at the end of the day. I don't know if they would be considered the most hated unit because of that. Maybe the most frustrating unit because they're really testing you, but not the most hated. Surely not.
Switch them. So get guns facing that way, push these guys across the road, and then you can bring those guys in back.
Within my battalion, there are about 627 soldiers assigned. For rotation, I also receive about an additional 400 augmentee soldiers who just arrive just for the purpose of helping out for 1 month, and then they leave. In comparison, typically there are about 5,000 soldiers on average that will come here to train against us and fight us. So in terms of like overmatch, certainly we are the underdog, but that also plays into our favor in terms of why we're so hated is because we like playing as the guy who's operating against all odds.
Say during the day we do weapons maintenance and counter rest because we mainly fight at night. So during the daytime we'll tend to do probe attacks sometimes, like make sure how their defenses are, their security, and then
Yeah, so they're just testing them and they're punishing them. What's happening is they're aware of the abilities of the people they're going against, and so they're pushing them in places that they're not probably, you know, the most vulnerable places, nighttime, stuff like that. And they're really testing them. That's what they're doing, and I think that's actually a really, really good thing. That's what you need.
And nighttime's normally when we hit them hard. If you could sneak up on somebody when they're sleeping and you kill them, you just tell them go back to bed.
Sleep.
Yeah.
It's like one of the thirds, like, okay, and roll over.
Just keep it like, all right, I'm dead, and then just go like sleep.
The enemy that we're up against, this is their full-time job, so they do this day in and day out, and it's going to be a pretty big hassle for us.
Yeah.
They also have off-the-shelf drones that they utilize to locate and target, and they have Nerf droplets that they drop to simulate grenades.
We've done a video on them drones. If you want to go back and look at the video that I did about that drone, you should go and look at it. It's actually a really impressive bit of kit, but I have my doubts about it, and it looks like the US government have their doubts about it as well. But you should go and watch that video.
So it's completely real world and working to create the best way to strike the enemy, but using new technology.
That guy was an Army commando then. So for anyone in the US, you can see his shoulders here. It says Army Commando. So the Royal Marines Commandos, what I was a part of, boom. You can do something called the All Arms course where you just do, so just to get a bit more complex, we are the Royal Marines Commandos. We're not Royal Marine Commandos. We're the Royal Marines Commandos. I know that you can't be a Royal Marine anymore without being a commando. You could back a long time ago. And the commando course, the last bit of training, it's like the last 6 weeks of training. You can go and do what's called the All Arms course, where you do that last bit of training and you'll get a green lid and get called an Army Commando or a Navy Commando. Doesn't make you a Royal Marines Commando. Doesn't mean you've done your 32 weeks training. It just means you've done a little bit of training and your commando tests at the end to get a green lid. So they are very, very good soldiers. They're very well respected. And he obviously knows what he's doing then at that point.
Our goal is we must win. And the reason we must win as the opposing force is that we believe very firmly that units learn best by losing.
Yeah, he's got a good point.
You've got a real kit of parts, haven't you? Anything at your disposal to make life hell for...
Yeah, and these vehicles are all brand new. So one of the things that will kind of change about these is right now they just look like a plain pickup truck, but we also will mount police lights on them, ambulance lights, the orange flashing like construction worker or electric company, and so we can go out there and pretend to just be fixing a light pole and doing nothing, but we're actually utilizing that as an opportunity to maybe infiltrate a Wi-Fi network or just observe and report on activity that's in that area.
His job is to train this brigade and train us as hard as he can by... See, he's already got his scouts out against me.
So why is the enemy here called Geronimo?
Their lineage goes back to the 509th Parachute Infantry Battalion, and by legend, one of the first members of the 509th was also the first members of the test platoon. The rest of the members of his unit had, said that he was going to be scared. And so he said, I'm not going to be scared when I exit this airplane for the first time, one of the first U.S. paratroopers, and I'm going to prove it to you by yelling Geronimo when I jump out of the airplane. Right? And so Geronimo
I love a little bit of it's almost a story that's turned into a bit of lore, a bit of mythology about that unit. I love stuff like that. Absolutely love it. It gives you a sense, like if you were part of that unit, it gives you a sense of pride to tell that story, doesn't it? Absolutely love that.
Being the very famous Apache warrior from Native American culture. And so, true to his word, when he exited the aircraft, he yelled Geronimo.
So cool.
That's what we're going to do, so just while we're off to that.
Meanwhile, Geronimo have now made contact with the Welsh cavalry.
So you can get one of the antennas up, get under zero. Tell them to stop dropping people in that area. Right. Because obviously the enemies have got eyes on to be calling mortars in.
The beginning of many battles ahead.
We've got lots of training areas in the UK, some of which initially could look quite similar to this, pine trees and ferns, but then they're very small. This is on a scale that is really great to work in because in the UK, you'll come across the same wood block or the same trees again and again. And when you've been on that training area a bit, you kind of know where the enemy are likely to be hiding.
That's very true, that, because unless you're training at like Salisbury Plain or Dartmoor or something like that, which don't have a lot of woodland, it's mostly a lot of terrain in general. If someone's at a piece of woodland, it's usually noted on a map and you can very much tell where they are and kind of what they're going to do. In America, that's not the case. The woodland's massive. And so not only, you know, navigating through this dense woodland is incredibly difficult, expecting, like, knowing what the enemy is going to do and expecting their next move is very difficult as well.
And there aren't that many surprises, but in somewhere the size of this, we're constantly being surprised by Geronimo, discovering new areas and getting pushed and put to the test in a way that we just wouldn't be used to at home.
Are you ready? Let's go. Let's move.
And what's it like having the Welsh cavalry working alongside you?
So first and foremost, a phenomenal unit, incredibly professional, particularly their junior non-commissioned officers, their corporals and lance corporals. Incredibly capable and professional and skilled at what they do.
So this time the British are here, you know, do they tend to give you more grief than the others?
The British are coming.
Honestly.
Look at that, the British are coming. Do you know what? There's so much like banter between the US and the UK when it comes to the military. But there is no better military that each other love working with than the other. Do you know what I mean? Like, the US love working with the British, and the British love working with the Americans. It's just always has been that way. Do you know? Well, it hasn't always been that way, I guess. Hence the picture here. But it's almost as if the banter's become more of just a fun, playful thing now, more than anything. Bit of friendly competition, isn't it? But the truth is, both militaries actually love each other quite a bit, and we're actually probably best friends. We're the bestest of friends, you could probably say, more than any other militaries around the world, couldn't you?
You know, because we may talk a lot of smack about each other, but when it comes down to it, when we finally actually train with each other, we look forward to it.
There you
learn
go.
From one another.
Yeah. This isn't the Super Bowl. This isn't the end point. Sorry, that would be like the Champions League Cup. This isn't the end. This is just a point on our way to being ready. And ultimately, you know, we hope we don't have to compete in that really final event, real combat. And so this is meant to push us really beyond our limits, to prepare us for that eventuality.
Yeah. What's your message to the Welsh cavalry?
I have no message for the Welsh cavalry. I'll be there to shoot you soon.
Next time, come with me as I explore the history behind Fort Polk in Louisiana. The state has been home to training US soldiers since before World War II.
That's so cool.
And a big exclusive with the head of Forces Command, 4-star General Garrett, talks about the importance of the defence relationship between the United States and the UK.
That's really
Sian
cool.
Breschek, Forces News, Fort Polk, Louisiana.
Great video. I love watching stuff like that with collaborations. I've already said that multiple times. When it comes to collaborations around the world, I think they're incredibly beneficial to all the countries involved with it. Anything when it's to do with the US and the UK working together is so much fun. I've worked with a couple of US lads when I was in the Royal Marines, and it was so much fun. They loved it. I loved it. I've been to US bases in Bahrain and stuff like that, and it's always a bunch of fun interacting with them. And now, back then I wasn't, but now I'm a US citizen, so I love it even more. Do you know what I mean? I'll leave a link down below to the original video. I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. Were you in the military? Have you worked with a foreign military before? Let me know who they were down in the comment section down below. Other than that, I'll see you next week. I love you all. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.